Hello everyone, Eli back from Nintendo Enthusiast. We're going to be talking about the newly released NPD sales that came out yesterday. If you guys remember, I put together a little anticipation video. We talked about everything that would really become important when NPD data was released. So I'm just going to run through first software and then talk hardware. And overall, Nintendo had actually a really good month. I didn't expect them to do as well as they did, and that's actually really awesome. So we're going to begin with Smash Bros, which I actually didn't expect. I didn't think that they would count the first 2 days of October in NPD, but in the first 2 days, Smash Bros sold 705,000 units. Now there's a few really awesome parts about the statistic. First of all, even though it only came in 4th on the NPD charts, which is behind Mario Kart 8 actually came in 2nd in May when it first came out, and it was only on the market for 2 days as well in the counting period. But the great thing is that the 3DS version of Smash Bros. Actually outsold Mario Kart 8 in its first 2 days, which is really significant, considering Mario Kart 8 is kind of a beast, but whereas Smash Bros. On the 3DS was kind of, I'd say many more people are expecting the Wii U version than necessarily the 3DS version, but of course that's just my opinion. Moving on, it outsold Shadow of Mordor, which came out on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That was a huge game that came out last month, so I think Smash Bros. Did stupendously. Also, it's important to note that Smash Bros. Sold 135,000 units digitally, which is a huge chunk. 135,000 out of 705,000 units. A large amount of these units were digital, and it might indicate a future movement to digital by Nintendo, which is actually kind of positive that they're moving to the future. Now we can talk about FIFA 15, which, remember, if you guys remember, I made a joke about FIFA 15 not selling on the 3DS or the Wii, and surprise, surprise, it really didn't. Good news, the Wii version of the game, there's no Wii U version, Wii version of the game outsold the Vita version, so party on FIFA 15. But yeah, 3DS was the worst selling version behind Vita, then Vita was second to last, and then Wii was third to last. I'm sure all the other consoles ended up doing a little better. But in good third-party news, we can look at Disney Infinity 2.0. The Wii U version of Disney Infinity 2.0 actually outsold the PS4 and Xbox One versions. So, you know, all those third parties that are afraid to come to the Wii U, sure, it's true, maybe games like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed may not perform as well, of course, as their PS4 and Xbox One counterparts, but anyone that's making, say, child-friendly games, or games that aren't bloody and violent, especially like Disney Infinity 2.0, which is a game that probably anyone could like, both adults and kids, it seems like the Wii and the Wii U are excellent platforms, as the Wii U did outsell the PS4 and Xbox One versions. And then let's talk about Hyrule Warriors, which came in 11th place. So just off the top 10 charts, which is fine because the game ended up selling 190,000 units in the US. Now, this is actually really good. 190,000 units for a game that's pretty much Dynasty Warriors. Didn't get tons of marketing, it did get good amount on the internet, but not necessarily TV ads. I think Hyrule Warriors did very well. 190,000 units, combine that with the about 100,000 units sold in Japan, and then add that together with whatever it may have done in Europe, then you're probably closing in on 400,000, maybe even 500,000 units by the end of the year, which is really good considering it's not developed by Nintendo, it's developed by Tecmo Koei. It'd probably be one of the more successful Dynasty Warriors games released recently. So I would say that Nintendo, like, these sales were good. I think that they're sending a message to Nintendo that they should definitely be investing more in these types of third-party collaborations. And in fact, if these games continue to sell well and the Wii U ends up moving more units, the games in the future might actually end up selling more because you're going to have a larger install base. And who knows, maybe a lot of people are holding out on Hyrule Warriors for when it gets cheaper. So that's something significant as well. The one game that I noticed was not on the charts was Theatrhythm. So I talked about how Theatrhythm sales might indicate whether they end up doing Theatrhythm Dragon Quest, Theatrhythm Kingdom Hearts, whatever they end up doing in the future, and they were not on the charts. It's not necessarily bad news. The game did sell pretty well in Japan. It did about 125,000 units, which I think is profitable enough for Square Enix. I really don't know. Obviously, I don't know their numbers, but I think it did decent enough, probably. Especially since Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain's Call in Japan outsold the original. So as long as they can keep that up, I think that they'll be okay. I think that they'll be releasing more Theatrhythm games in the future, even though it did not chart. After all, this month was so competitive. The fact that Hyrule Warriors sold 190,000 units and didn't even make the top 10 just shows how incredibly competitive this month was. In fact, Theatrhythm could have sold 150,000 units and probably been in 20th place. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because those 100,000 units or whatever they sold in America are going to be really important for Square Enix. Now, we can finally talk about these console sales. There were 140,000 3DS units sold in America in September. Now, considering the 3DS has been out for, man, 3 years already, probably almost 4, I would say that, yeah, it is almost 4 years. I'd say that they did a wonderful job. 140,000 units in a month is pretty solid. However, 140,000 units probably is not like the best month they've had, especially not maybe in the last year. But 140,000 units is great for a September / 2 days of October, and I think that they're going to see success with 3DS, especially when new 3DS comes out. I don't have any facts to back that one up, that's just a prediction, but just basing off the fact that they're releasing numbers is very significant. They also talked about how the Wii U sold more than 50% better than August, and they had a double-digit growth from last September. Now, this is really important. If you guys remember from last September, Nintendo actually had their price drop on the Wii U last September. That's when they had their Wind Waker bundle. So the fact that this month, September, with just Hyrule Warriors, outsold Wind Waker HD with a price drop, I'd say that's really significant. And it might indicate a shift in Wii U actually starting to gain traction. Holiday seasons might look bright considering that September sales from August sales were more than 50% better. And overall, the fact that Nintendo even released any details on the Wii U and 3DS, where they didn't in August, actually indicates that they probably met their goals. They met what they wanted to meet. There's nothing for them to be ashamed of, which is great. And no matter how few they sold compared to the PS4 and Xbox One, ultimately that doesn't matter, because as long as they're meeting their expectations, there's really nothing more we can ask of them. Overall, that's my little analysis of these new NPD sales. If you guys enjoyed them, make sure to let us know in the comments below. If there's something you disagree with, let us know before. There's some excellent conversations we had in the comment section last time. Of course, make sure to check NintendoEnthusiast.com as well. We have tons of content there. And we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to keep gaming.